Well, folks, as you are fully aware, we are in interesting times. Because of these times, we're having to make a lot of adjustments, and we're doing that with the trust that God's going to use these things in a great way. So while you're used to watching these vlogs, we're getting used to watching sermons, also via video, but in that case, live stream. So I encourage you to continue to do so as we go through this series of the Psalms. This coming Sunday, we're going to be talking about Psalm 35 and looking at responses to attacks from others, and how do we deal with those, and how do we lift those situations and people up to God. So I encourage you to continue to log on and be a part of Rabbit Creek's journey during these interesting times. We're praying for you and for all of our nation and world as we go through this together. Thanks for watching. We are in the third week of our Psalm series, Jesus in the Psalms. And we have had a wonderful time looking at the first few chapters of Psalms and then fast forwarding into Psalm 8. Now we're going to fast forward even further into Psalm 35. In Psalm 35, we're going to hear again the words of David that will be ultimately fulfilled in the life of Jesus. As we look at the Psalm, we're going to see that the author of Psalm 35 experienced a physical attack, a verbal attack, and the onslaught of trick questions, trying to get him tongue-tied and to speak things that could be used against him. And we fast forward into the New Testament, and we see the life of Jesus and these very same things happening to him. We see later on in his ministry, obviously, the physical attacks. Prior to that, we see verbal attacks as well as trick questions. And so you see the continued fulfillment of these very passages. One of the things we're going to focus on this coming Sunday is the response that David and Jesus both have to the attacks and to the tricks. We're going to find out that David had some very good approaches to this. Jesus, obviously, because of his perfection, did this far beyond David's efforts, but David did a good job sending us in the right direction. I want us to look briefly at a couple of verses from this passage to look at David's response. And in chapter 35, beginning in verse 26, we hear these words: "May all who gloat over my distress be put to shame and confusion. May all who exalt themselves over me be clothed with shame and disgrace. May those who delight in vindication shout for joy and gladness. May they always say, 'The Lord is exalted, who delights in the well-being of his servant.'" So he begins with this idea of, God, would you please take care of them, letting God handle this. But then he moves into this idea that he wants them to end up praising Jesus, to give joy to God and to experience God's grace. We're going to see that further fulfilled and lived out perfectly in the life of Jesus. So I encourage you to make sure you tune in to live stream and see what Jesus does when he is attacked both physically and emotionally, as well as when he's asked trick questions. Thanks for watching, and let's continue to enjoy the Psalms.